Well, good afternoon. Happy Friday, July the 30th. Mark Milam here, your mortgage professional with Highland Mortgage, coming to you with this week's interest rate summary and market update. Boy, by the time we thought we were going to get to the end of July, we really thought we would be so focused on job growth, the exit from the pandemic, economic expansion, inflation. We really thought those would be the things that we would be talking about as interest rates made their slow climb up out of the recession that we've been in. That's really not the direction this week has taken us. And some of that is really most of that is centered around the Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus. We got guidance from the CDC this week that masking up indoors is now something they're recommending in most regions, especially heavily populated regions. Cities of Savannah, cities of Atlanta, now calling for mandatory masking in all public areas indoors as the COVID variant is spreading. And we're finding out that the vaccine, while it affords you protection in terms of how sick you get, in terms of hospitalization, in terms of death, it does not necessarily afford us protection in terms of transmitting the virus to other people. We can still catch it almost just as easily as folks who are unvaccinated. And so we're seeing now that vaccines do not necessarily give you protection from catching the virus, just on how significant your distress might be. Let's take a look at the CDC website as it pertains to the COVID case tracker. And if we come down here and take a look, back around June the 14th had this low point of around 8,000 cases per day. But if we fast forward to today, we're now seeing the case count right around 85,000 cases per day. That's a significant increase, going from 8,000 cases per day to over 80,000 cases per day. And it is all centered around the Delta variant of the COVID virus. So what does that mean for interest rates? Well, if we take a look at mortgage-backed securities over the past 5 business days, largely good news. Green days are good days, meaning the value of the associated securities going up, the associated interest rate is going down. But that's not necessarily where we want to be as a country, because we really don't want a resurgence of what we just lived through, which was mandatory masking, sheltering in place, maybe even businesses shutting down and folks working from home. We're not there yet, but that's the concern that's on the minds of legislators, that's on the minds of the CDC as we're getting ready to go back to school, as the weather will eventually start cooling off here in the next 60 to 90 to 120 days. Folks are going to be congregating indoors, making it much, much easier to spread this highly contagious variant of the coronavirus. So interesting news to be watching as we start to evaluate what's happening in the economy. Now, we also got a measure of inflation today, 3.5% on the core PCE number. That's just a measure of inflation. And you would think, wow, that's a really big number for inflation. And it is a big number for inflation, but inflation is measured year over year. There was no inflation this time last year. So of course that's going to be a big number. The news within the news as it pertains to that inflation number is that we actually missed expectations, not by much, but you can see we had estimated around 3.6 to 3.7% is what the core PCE number would be. And we came in below that, which is the first time we've missed an inflation number in quite a while. That would tend to indicate, boy, the economy is not out of the woods yet, and interest rates are likely to remain low, at least for the foreseeable future. The Fed announcement this week gave us every indication that that's the direction they were headed. No hints of tapering their bond purchases, and obviously no changes to the Fed funds rate. So this is a situation that merits watching, not just for our personal health, of course, that's primary, but also for the health of the country, for the direction of interest rates, and the economic recovery. If I can be of any service to you, please don't hesitate to reach out. Mark.Milam at highlandmtg.com, 404-395-1102.